In this video, I'll be revealing 5 negative thought patterns and how they'll keep you feeling stuck. Have you ever stopped to consider why you feel down on yourself from time to time? When you finally wake up to the knowing that the only thing getting in your way is the way in which you think, it can be very empowering. So I've identified 5 main sabotaging thought patterns that will not only keep you feeling stuck, but will sabotage any chance that you've got of future happiness. Let's take a look at what they are. Number 1 is called catastrophizing. Now, are you the sort of person who tends to blow things up out of proportion and always jump to the worst possible scenarios? Well, this type of thought pattern is known as catastrophizing and will make sure that you always react in a defensive or a destructive way. Now, the worst cases of this thought pattern are eating disorders, mental illnesses, and even suicide. By repetitively visualizing dire outcomes to your life events and circumstances, you're likely to live life in a very defensive manner, and it could even lance into aggressive behaviour. I tend to do this when I'm feeling insecure or shameful about past behaviours. One thought leads to the next, and before I know it, I'm feeling worthless, sad, betrayed and lonely. The good news is that this pattern can be broken by searching for evidence that what you are imagining is actually true. In most cases, you'll realise that you can't find factual evidence that what you're visualising is the truth. Number 2 is blaming yourself. Now, if you suffer from low self-esteem, it might be quite natural for you to believe that it's your fault when things start going wrong in your life. It's very easy for you to start pointing the finger of blame at yourself for maybe not being smart enough if your business is failing, or not being good enough if your relationship is turning sour. So this pattern is a form of martyrdom, and if these thoughts aren't corrected, it can damage you psychologically. It's actually a survival mechanism which has been learned along the way, and it's based on the belief that you require forgiveness to be able to live your life. Now, I can sometimes resort to this pattern when my business isn't flowing as freely as I'd like it to, and my mind will revisit past times where my actions resulted in challenging circumstances. Now, the way to overcome this one is to stop feeling guilty for being you. Number 3 is that feelings equal truth. Now, another very damaging thought pattern is to believe that your emotions are an accurate representation of reality. If you feel something, then surely it must be true, right? Wrong. It is extremely dangerous territory to believe that you are that way and life is that way because of your emotions. Remember that you will become what you believe yourself to be, so it's essential to balance your feelings with critical judgment. Whenever I feel threatened by people or situations outside of my control, I can resort to emotional reasoning to take hold of my behaviours, which leaves me feeling isolated, insecure, and really judgmental. Seek factual evidence which either agrees or disagrees with your emotional conclusions and squash these damaging reactive behaviours. Number 4 are rules and regulations. Now, do you hold a strong set of opinions about what you believe is right and what you believe is wrong? Well, if you do, it can become quite frustrating when either your own actions, life, or other people don't conform to these lofty expectations. If you end up feeling guilty or even shameful if you could not achieve what you feel like you should have done during the course of the day, then it might be time to lift up the oars and release some of those dramatic expectations of yourself. Now, I can fall into these very unhelpful thought patterns when I'm too busy trying to overachieve all of my goals, and then I can project those high standards onto people around me. When they don't live up to my lofty expectations, I can feel let down or even frustrated. The best way to overcome this sabotaging pattern is to let go. Focus on what you want to do as opposed to what you need to do, and stop trying to control everything around you. And finally, number 5 are limited opinions. Now, it's likely that you will be accused of being narrow-minded if you base all future events on past experiences. It's likely that if you have a particular intolerance towards one particular cross-section of the population, that you will actually sabotage any prospect that you have of future happiness. Your beliefs about a certain subculture are likely to have been formulated during childhood, but it's never too late to challenge these old programs and develop some heightened self-awareness. Look, we can all slip into judgment of the external other from time to time. It usually happens when we feel threatened in some way. I know I used to feel like all psychics were fake until I started receiving really accurate inner guidance and had an incredible reading from a psychic that I met that literally blew my mind. These judgments will keep you feeling isolated, ashamed and living in fear. So next time you catch yourself overgeneralizing, ask yourself if you truly believe that everybody that has this label is identical. It's also important to recognize that there are plenty of other negative thought patterns that will literally block you from happiness, but these are some of the most common ones. What I'd like you to do is just write a few comments below to let me know which negative thought patterns you're struggling with at the moment and what you plan on doing in overcoming them. And then I'd like you to subscribe to this channel and click the bell for future notifications and then watch my next video. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.